Let me ask you something powerful. Have you ever been told you're not good enough? Have you ever failed, been cut, rejected, doubted, or told that your dream was too big, too unrealistic, too impossible? Because if you felt that sting, that weight on your chest, that feeling like maybe you're just not made for this, then listen closely, because today I want to introduce you to a story that will shatter every limit you've ever placed on yourself. It's the story of a man who was once told he wasn't good enough to play high school basketball. A man who didn't just rise but flew. I'm talking about Michael Jordan. But this isn't just about basketball. This is about you. This is about what you do when the world tells you no. What you do when life punches you in the gut. What you do when no one sees the fire burning inside you. Because Jordan's story. It's your story. It's the human story. It's about resilience. It's about becoming undeniable. And I want you to feel every second of this. Michael Jordan wasn't born a legend. He wasn't handed greatness. He built it. Brick by brick, failure by failure, sweat drop by sweat drop. And let's be honest, most people only remember the highlights. The championships, the game winners, the 6 rings, the tongue-out dunks, the iconic Air Jordans. But let me take you behind the curtain for a second. Because there was a time back in high school when Michael didn't make the varsity team. That's right. He got CUT. Let that sink in. The greatest player of all time didn't make the team. And you know what he did? He cried. Yeah, Michael Jordan cried. But then, he made a decision. A decision that changed the course of not only his life, but the entire world of sports. He said, never again. And from that moment on, he showed up to the gym earlier than everyone else. He stayed later. He trained like a man possessed. And here's the truth, he outworked everyone. That wasn't God-given talent. That was God-level drive. You see, talent may get you noticed, but consistency, obsession, and grit, that's what makes you legendary. Now I want you to imagine something. Imagine you're walking into the gym every day. No applause. No cameras. No crowd. Just silence. Just that ball bouncing on the hardwood. That's where greatness is born. Not under the lights. Not on stage, but in the dark, when nobody's watching. Michael trained like every single rep mattered, because to him it did. And that's what separates winners from everyone else. Not the scoreboard. The standard. Jordan held himself to a standard so high, most people couldn't breathe at that altitude. And I want to ask you, what's your standard? What level are you demanding from yourself when no one's clapping for you? Because that's when the real transformation happens. In the quiet, in the lonely, in the grind. You know, people love to talk about success like it's a straight line. But Jordan's path? It was a war zone. In 1990, before the titles, before the dominance, he kept getting knocked out of the playoffs by the Detroit Pistons, what they call the bad boys. They beat him up literally and emotionally. They built a game plan called the Jordan Rules, designed to stop him by force. They hit him hard, double-teamed him, fouled him like it was war. Most players would have broken. But not Mike. You know what he did after getting eliminated again? He hit the weight room. He said, "They're not gonna bully me anymore." And he came back stronger, faster, tougher. That off-season, He didn't complain. He didn't post on social media. He didn't point fingers. He just worked. He got to work like a man who knew his destiny was on the other side of pain. And the next season, he didn't just beat the Pistons. He destroyed them. He took everything they threw at him and turned it into fuel. He used rejection as his reason. Let that land. He used rejection as his reason. And that is what I want you to understand today. Pain is not the end. It's the invitation. It's the starting line. Every challenge you're facing right now, every failure, every breakup, every setback, it's not here to break you. It's here to build you. Michael Jordan didn't become the greatest because he never lost. He became the greatest because he refused to stay down. You throw him to the floor. He gets back up. You cut him from the team. He trains until he can't breathe. You doubt him. He turns that doubt into dominance. That's the edge. That's the difference. That's what it takes. And let's talk about mindset, because if there's one thing that defined Jordan, it was that killer instinct. That refusal to lose. That obsession to win. In the NBA Finals, when the pressure was on, when the world was watching, he didn't hide. He didn't pass it off. He demanded the ball. He wanted the shot. He wanted the moment. And that wasn't arrogance, that was preparation meeting belief. It was earned confidence. That's the kind of belief that comes from showing up again and again and again when no one sees the work. When he dropped 38 points in the 1997 flu game, plain sick, dehydrated, barely able to stand, that wasn't for the cameras. That was for the mission. Because for Jordan, greatness wasn't optional. It was oxygen. And here's something wild he once said: I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life. And that is why I succeed. That quote. That is the blueprint. He didn't run from failure, he ran toward it. He used it. He embraced it. Because he knew every miss was one step closer to the make. And that's what you've got to remember. You're gonna fail. You're gonna fall. You're gonna be told no. But if you can keep going, if you can keep showing up, if you can fall in love with the work, then you can write your own legacy. Now, I want you to really sit with this. How many people do you know who are willing to go all in? I mean truly all in. Not just when it's convenient. Not just when the lights are on and the crowd is cheering. But when it's dark, when it's lonely, when it's silent. That's what Michael Jordan did. Every day. And here's the thing. He didn't do it for likes. He didn't do it for money. He did it because it was who he was. Because that fire inside him refused to settle. You see, champions don't need motivation. They're driven by identity. And that's a powerful lesson. Because when your identity becomes tied to greatness, when excellence becomes non-negotiable, you don't need a reason to push it. You are the reason. Think about how most people operate. They work hard when they feel like it. But feelings are fleeting. If you only act when you're inspired, you'll never be consistent. But Jordan, he flipped the script. He didn't rely on feelings, he relied on standards. That's a mindset. That's mastery. And it's something you can apply in your own life starting today. You don't need to be in the NBA to set your own gold standard. You don't need a crowd to demand more from yourself. You don't need permission to act like greatness is already within you. Because it is. The only question is, are you willing to pay the price? And make no mistake, there is a price. People love to admire greatness from a distance. They see the highlight reels, the commercials, the trophies. But they don't see the toll. The sacrifices, the lonely nights, the missed birthdays, the broken body, the emotional pressure. Michael Jordan didn't just dominate a game. He gave his life to it. He bled for it. He poured every ounce of himself into it. And here's the truth. Greatness isn't convenient. It's painful. It's exhausting. It's ruthless. And yet it's worth it. Because when you commit to something on that level, when you burn the boats and eliminate the plan B, life begins to open up in a way most people will never understand. Let me give you a moment from his life that defines this. 1993. He's on top of the world. 3 straight championships. He's untouchable. Then tragedy strikes. His father, James Jordan, is murdered. Can you imagine the pain? The shock? The grief? This wasn't a missed shot. This was life, tearing his heart out. And so what does he do? He walks away. He retires. In his prime. Not because he couldn't play, but because he needed to heal. Because even giants bleed. And that's a part of the journey till we all hit moments that shake us to our core. Moments that humble us. Moments that remind us we're human. But here's what's unbelievable: after nearly 2 years away from the game, after all the loss, after all the doubt, he comes back. Just 2 words: I'm back. That's all it took. And then, he doesn't ease in. He goes full force. And by 1996, he leads the Chicago Bulls to one of the greatest seasons in NBA history, 72 wins. 3 more championships. He didn't just return, he redefined what a comeback looks like. And that's the message I want you to receive deep in your soul today. It's never over. I don't care how far you've fallen. I don't care who walked away. I don't care what mistake you made. You are one decision away from a comeback. You are one choice away from rewriting your story. If Michael Jordan can rise after the loss of his father, after the world questioned him, after the game moved on, then so can you. But he didn't do it alone. And this is key. Jordan was great, yes. But he also made everyone around him better. He pushed them. He challenged them. He demanded their best. And yeah, sometimes he was tough. Sometimes he was ruthless. But it was never personal, it was about purpose. He once said, winning has a price. And leadership has a price. He wasn't there to be liked. He was there to win. And that's leadership. That's what we forget in this age of popularity contests. Real leadership isn't about being everyone's friend. It's about having the courage to call people to a higher level, to raise the standard, to say, this is who we are, and this is what we demand. You want to lead? Then lead like Jordan. Lead by example. Show up early. Stay late. Be relentless. Be obsessed. Be unshakable in your pursuit. And don't just talk about what you're going to do, be about it. Because people don't follow words. They follow energy. They follow certainty. And Jordan had both. He had the confidence not just to play the game, but to change the game. To build a brand that became bigger than basketball. To step into business, to become an icon, to stay hungry long after the last buzzer. That's the true mark of greatness. When you can dominate in multiple arenas because your drive is internal, not external. Let me ask you, what arena are you playing in right now? And more importantly, are you showing up like it matters? Because it does. Whether you're building a business, leading a team, raising a family, writing a book, creating art, or chasing a personal goal, how you do it, the energy you bring, the commitment you show, The excellence you embody matters. And if you want to take your life to the next level, if you want to be the one who sets the tone instead of following the trend, then take a page out of MJ's playbook. Get obsessed with mastery. Get committed to the process. Get addicted to getting better. Michael Jordan once said, "Some people want it to happen, some wish it would happen, others make it happen." And that's the truth right there. You can want it. You can wish for it. But until you decide to make it happen, until you decide to go all in, nothing changes. Wanting isn't enough. You've got to move. You've got to act. You've got to step up and say, "This is my life. This is my moment. And I will not be denied." That's what Jordan did every time he stepped on that court. And that's what you've got to do every day you step into the arena of your own life. Because here's the bottom line, you're not here to be average. You're not here to play small. You were born to lead. You were born to inspire. You were born to dominate your space with passion, with power, and with purpose. The world needs your greatness. And if Michael Jordan, a kid who got cut from his high school team, can rise to become the most iconic athlete of all time, then what's stopping you? So, now let's bring this home. Michael Jordan wasn't just a basketball player. He was a standard. A global metaphor for what it means to refuse to settle. His journey teaches us that greatness isn't handed to you. It's built, it's sculpted, it's earned one brutal, beautiful, committed day at a time. And I don't want you to just admire that, I want you to absorb it. Let it soak into your bones. Let it become the new voice in your head. The voice that says, "I will rise. I will work. I will outlast. And I will win, not someday but today." See, Michael's story is your story if you choose it. Because success leaves clues. And the path he walked is one you can walk too. Not on a basketball court, maybe. But in your business, in your body, in your relationships, in your art, your mission, your legacy. You're building something. You're playing your game. And if you really want to honor his legacy, don't just wear his jersey. Wear his mindset. Think like him. Train like him. Show up like him. Because you are capable of so much more than you've ever imagined. Let's go deeper. Let's talk about mental dominance. One of the most overlooked aspects of Michael Jordan's career was his ability to get in his opponent's heads. He was a master of psychology. Trash talk wasn't just bravado, it was strategy. He played chess, not checkers. He studied people, picked them apart mentally before the game even started. And in your life that matters, because most of the battles you fight aren't external, they're internal. You need that same mental armor, that same clarity, that same bulletproof confidence that says, "I know who I am. I know what I'm about. And nothing can take me off my path." And how do you build that? Through repetition, through discipline, through doing the hard things on purpose. Jordan shot thousands of free throws a day, not when it was easy, but especially when it was hard. That's how champions are made. You don't become great by accident. You decide to be great. And then you act on that decision daily. Even when it sucks. Even when no one's watching. Especially then. You want results? Then fall in love with the process. That's what separates winners from wishers. Most people quit when it gets tough. Most people fold when the pressure hits. But the few, the rare few, they lean in. They embrace the struggle. They live for the grind. Jordan didn't just love the game, he loved the fight. And that's your edge right there. If you can fall in love with the pain, if you can find power in the push, then nothing can stop you. Let me give you another defining moment. Game 5 of the 1997 NBA Finals. The flu game. Jordan was sick, dehydrated. He had chills. He could barely walk. The doctors advised him not to play. But you know what he did? He put on his jersey. He laced up his sneakers. He stepped onto that court and dropped 38 points against the Utah Jazz, barely able to stand but still dominating the game. Why? Because he understood something that I want you to take to heart. Pain is temporary. Regret is forever. He would rather collapse on the court giving it his all than sit in the locker room wondering what if. And that's the mindset I want you to adopt from this moment forward. When it's hard, go harder. When it hurts, go deeper. When your body says stop, let your spirit say go. Because the ones who win are the ones who refuse to give up when it gets uncomfortable. They lean into discomfort. They master it. And over time, they become unshakable. And look, you don't need to be Michael Jordan to have a Michael Jordan moment. You just need to make the decision that from now on, you will refuse to shrink. You will refuse to coast. You will never again settle for just enough. Your life deserves more. Why, oh, you deserve more. But you only get what you demand. And Jordan, he demanded greatness. From himself. From his team. From the world. So, demand more. Raise your standards. Get clear on your vision. Decide what you're playing for. And then go all in. Burn the excuses. Burn the doubts. Burn the fear. Because none of that is real. What's real is your hunger. Your heart. Your grit. Your power. And if you take that energy, if you channel it with precision and passion, you become unstoppable. Just like him. You see, Michael Jordan isn't a myth. He's not some untouchable god. He's a man who made a decision to be the best, and then he backed it up every single day. So now, it's your turn. Not to be him, but to be you at your highest level. To be the person who shows up when others give up. To be the one who sets the tone, not follows the crowd. To be the one who dares to dream and then has the courage to build it. Because life will test you. It will push you. It will whisper in your ear that you're not enough. But that's when you remember Michael Jordan got cut from his high school team. Michael Jordan lost. Michael Jordan failed. But he kept going. He kept rising. And eventually he became the greatest of all time. So what's stopping you? The same blood that ran through his veins runs through yours. The same potential. The only difference is choice. And if you're ready, truly ready to step into your power, to live with passion, and to create a life that blows your mind, then today is your day. Not next week. Not someday. Right now. You don't need more time. You need more decision. So, decide. Step up. Go harder. And when you do, remember these 3 words. Be like Mike. Not because you want to copy him, but because you want to activate the greatness that already lies within you. It's time. Let's go.